Previously on Remnicore's YouTube channel. Even this show being a letdown cannot squash my excitement for the Kenobi series, because I have no idea how they could f it up. I have no idea how they could f it up. I have no idea how they could f it up. I have no idea how they could f it up. So the day has finally come. After years and years of waiting, the ultimate prequel cash-in has finished debuting all 6 episodes. I've already made a video criticizing the show for feeling and looking cheap, which got a lot of attention, and then also made a review last week on the 5th episode. I had already been expressing my opinions on this show in those videos, but now that all the episodes are out, I think it's only fair that I go back, review the entire series, and see if my mind has changed. But first, a brief word about today's sponsor. Thank you to Atlas VPN for sponsoring this video. As someone who is doing their graduate studies in cybersecurity, I believe the smartest thing you can do is be protected and safe when using the internet. The best way to do that is with the VPN, and thanks to this sponsor, you can get one for a very sweet deal. Right now, Atlas VPN is running a huge discount. You can get a 3-year subscription for just $1.99 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee, and this is a deal you won't want to miss. Atlas VPN has more than 6 million users worldwide, and works to make internet access secure and limitless for everyone. Not only is Atlas VPN a perfect way to browse and use the internet securely, but it can also be used to unlock a library of entertainment previously kept out of your reach. When you purchase Atlas VPN, you can utilize it to change the geographic location from which you are browsing the internet, which allows you to watch shows on Netflix or other streaming sites that aren't available in your home country. Atlas VPN is also incredibly fast, so I don't experience any interference when I'm streaming a show or playing a game. So don't miss out on this amazing deal because time is running out. Use the link in the description below to get a 3-year subscription for just $1.99 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Thank you again to Atlas VPN for sponsoring this video. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I really don't think that this show was that good. It's not bad, don't get me wrong, but it's also not great. I know what you're thinking, why am I so critical of a franchise I claim to love? Well, the truth is I always want Star Wars to be the best. I grew up with Star Wars and part of me wanted Star Wars to grow up too. I'm learning to temper my expectations and just take the good stuff when it comes, but at the same time, I have quite a bit to say about this show, and I've been looking forward to doing so for a while. It goes without saying then, this video is filled with spoilers for the show. You have been warned. First, I'm going to start off with things that I do like about this show. I need to preface this by saying that when I say I like something, it's because while watching the show, it's something I found myself enjoying, even though when criticizing the show, I might feel like it should have been handled differently or not done at all. For example, I think Vivian Lyra Blair was a perfect casting choice for young Leia. I never thought she was annoying. Now, do I think Leia has a role that is almost too large in this show? Yeah, a little, but within the canon, I love how this fleshes out her relationship with Obi-Wan and explains why she would name her son Ben. However, like many problems with this show, it just doesn't mesh very well with the original Star Wars. For example, now it's kinda weird that Leia has like no reaction at all to Obi-Wan's death, but young Leia is adorable, though she's not written very consistently. Is she overly skeptical or naively trusting? I don't think the writers of this show know. I also love Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker. Though I have criticized the show for severely underutilizing Anakin and at times misdirecting Vader, there is enough here for me to feel satisfied and be content with the sequences that we got, where I can go back and rewatch them and still be entertained. I could always say that I want more Vader, because I do, but I am also appreciative of what this show gave us, and I don't think it's worth complaining about it more. Hayden Christensen being in Star Wars again is just a dream come true, and I'm so happy to have him back. It goes without saying that I also love seeing Ewan McGregor return to the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's really no secret that he carries this show, and you would expect that to be the case because, well, this show is about him. I think Ewan did a great job at showing us Obi-Wan in the transitionary phase from General Kenobi to Ben Kenobi. I started working on this video prior to the finale being released, so we're gonna check in with myself from the future and see if there's anything in the finale that I actually liked. Hey, it's me from the future, and yeah, there's a few things. This was awesome, 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 and this was awesome. The only reason I started working on this video before the finale dropped is because A, this is still just a hobby, so I have to sleep and go to work, and B, the finale can't save an entire series. I'm sorry, but one stellar episode in a show with 6 episodes is not something I could consider to be a good show. Throughout all 6 episodes, there are moments and scenes that I did enjoy a lot, but they are still plagued with other problems that I will talk about. Now that I've confessed to the things in the show that I actually did like, I'm going to move on to things that I did not like. Immediately following the first 2 episodes, I started to hear people talk about how the music wasn't impressive and really didn't feel like Star Wars music. I honestly felt the same way, but even I'm shocked that I'm saying this because I was ecstatic when I heard Natalie Holt was composing this show's score. Natalie Holt did a fantastic job on the score for Loki, so I thought she would do a great job here. But the end result isn't necessarily bad, it's just not very good for Star Wars. John Williams only came back to make a theme for Obi-Wan, so other than that, he has nothing to do with the show's music. Star Wars has already seen other composers take a swing at the mantle, and I think they all did a great job. I love Michael Giacchino's work on Rogue One. I like some of the sound we got from John Powell for Solo, and Ludwig Göransson created a new iconic sound for Star Wars. But for whatever reason, Natalie Holt's score for Obi-Wan just feels stale. It doesn't feel very epic. The music just didn't elevate anything, and that's the issue. Though I did like the music when Reva fought Vader, it all just felt too much like a Marvel score. And that would be fine if this was a Marvel show, but it's not. It's Star Wars, and Star Wars has a very specific sound. The next thing that I did not like was the directing. This is where I'm going to expand on my one video that really blew up, because a lot of people felt like I never explained why I thought it felt cheap. Alright, here's round two. Let me try to explain again. This show is not directed very well. This show has constant shaky cam, stale angles, and the action is not shot in an engaging way. You can do handheld shaky cam in Star Wars and have it look good. Just take Rogue One for example. Some people did not like it when I said the Order 66 scene felt cheap. Don't get me wrong, it's cool, but I don't like how it's directed. The same goes for Obi-Wan and Vader's first fight. A lot of people were commenting on how I was wrong and that it's a perfect fight because Obi-Wan is weak and Vader is toying with him. But I was never disputing the narrative weight behind the fight, I was just saying the directing sucked. When I show the comparison of the Scene 38 fan edit, I wasn't saying that Obi-Wan and Vader should both be at this intensity. It was really just Vader. I like the idea that Vader is severely disappointed and upset during this encounter because Obi-Wan is so weak and can't even put up a fight. But I think this could have been executed way better. I think they could have shown Vader as way more powerful than Obi-Wan here. Have him beat him down like a schoolyard bully. Keep disarming him, knocking him down, but still allow him to get back up every time. This would show how intense and powerful Vader is while still showing how weak Obi-Wan is. But it also shows that Vader doesn't want to kill Obi-Wan right now. The way that this sequence is shot and directed is not very engaging, but that's just my opinion. I also feel the same way about Reva in the action in the 4th episode, from the stormtroopers shooting in narrow hallways, to stormtroopers not shooting in narrow hallways, to whatever this is, and this. Especially this. Deborah Chow directed episode 3 and 7 of The Mandalorian's first season, and those are two of the best episodes of the season. I just don't understand what happened with this show, because this is such a steep departure in quality. If the directing in this show didn't bother you at all, that's totally fine, I just really can't stand it. Another thing that I do not like, and that I also feel contributed to the show's low quality feel, is the design. Whether it's costumes or sets, this show just wasn't that appealing in these departments. Everything is so shiny and polished, whereas the original Star Wars feels dirty and lived in. I don't think that was really intentional, but it feels far more authentic. This is why it all feels like a high-budget fan film. All of the sets feel super cramped and make it obvious that they're shooting on limited space in the volume. But like I've said before, the volume is a very cool piece of tech, but it's the best when you can't really tell it's there. I think the volume is becoming a little too noticeable, and as a result, the volume and scope of the show feels that much smaller. Even the costume designs feel incredibly cheap and poor quality. I've literally never seen these many humans wandering around Tatooine. Where the fuck are all the aliens? But when it comes to aliens actually in this show, I gave it a pass when the first trailer dropped, but now that the entire show is out and I've seen the final product, I just can't get over it, man. The Grand Inquisitor and the Fifth Brother look like shit. You've all heard it before, and you either agree or don't care and aren't bothered by it. Rupert Friend or Rupert Friend can play the Grand Inquisitor. I like his performance. And Sung Kang is fine as the Fifth Brother. All he really did was whisper, yell, and grunt anyways. But I cannot get over this. Neither of them look anything like they're supposed to. The Grand Inquisitor's species is a Pauan from the planet Utapau. We meet their kind in Revenge of the Sith when Obi-Wan goes to fight General Grievous. They're superimposing and the makeup and effects are really neat. This was done in 2005, and right now it's 2022. So somebody please explain to me what the fuck I'm looking at. I know people say, oh, the characters always look different when they're translated from animation to live action, but my brother in Christ, you have a perfect reference right here. They even showed a Pauan senator in the new teaser for Jedi Survivor, and he looks just like the Pauan from 2005! Rupert Friend doesn't look like the Grand Inquisitor, he just looks like he's cosplaying as him. But honestly, I'm more upset about the Fifth Brother. Sung Kang is fine, but the Fifth Brother looks fucking whack. When you meet him in Rebels, he's a tall and brooding alien that grunts a lot, but he looks pretty frightening. I imagined he was around the same height as Vader and his footsteps were heavy, but no, he's just a regular Asian guy wearing a bike helmet with a skin condition and reverb in his voice. If they had made the Fifth Brother a CG alien and put Sung Kang in a mocap suit, I think this would have been a lot more faithful to Rebels, because neither him nor the Grand Inquisitor seem like they're playing the same character from Rebels. The Grand Inquisitor and the Fifth Brother do jack shit in this show, so I really don't know why they did it this way, other than to save money. This show's plot is also a little incompetent. The plot kicks off when Reva hires people to kidnap Leia because she thinks Bail will seek out Obi-Wan. The main issue with this being the driving force of the plot is that now the Empire knows that Bail is actually in contact with Obi-Wan. Reva's plan worked. Putting Leia in immediate danger brought him out of hiding. Why then would Bail not face judgment by the Empire? And why would Vader stop trying to find Obi-Wan for 9 years? Hi, it's me again from the future. So I guess the explanation for this is that Darth Vader just drops his obsession with Obi-Wan because Palpatine is like, hey, it's kind of weird you're like going after your former master when like we got a thing going on right now, you should probably stop that. Bail also tells Obi-Wan that he must go after Leia because only he knows how important she really is. But that's really more of a reason for him not to go after her. Neither Reva nor the criminals she hires know that Leia is the daughter of Anakin Skywalker. Reva only kidnaps her because she is Bail's daughter, and she knows they fought with each other in the war. If Bail had just sent his own army after her, he could have gained a ton of sympathy in the Senate, and he could have told the Empire, hey dude, you just up and kidnapped my daughter for no reason. You guys are fucking psychopaths. The next issue I have with this show is the writing, and specifically character writing for one particular character. And that, of course, is Reva. My video talking about Reva after the first 2 episodes is my most controversial video just judging by the like to dislike ratio, but I will admit I made some points in that video that don't really hold any weight, and that I'm now willing to go back on. It's fairly obvious that Disney and Lucasfilm were dead set on having a black woman as the antagonist in this show, but I don't really care. I don't want to waste my breath on that. Instead, I'm actually upset on behalf of the actors who get cast in this manner, such as John Boyega. Disney and Lucasfilm wanted to market a black man holding the lightsaber in The Force Awakens, but he was completely sidelined and given no character arc or anything to do in the following movies. John Boyega has said this himself, and I genuinely feel bad for him. I now feel a similar way about Moses Ingram because she didn't ask for this. Hell, Moses Ingram isn't even really a Star Wars fan, so it's especially awful that she's just now the next in line to receive relentless abuse online from Star Wars fans. I know a lot of people say that a character like Reva should have never been introduced in this story because it's about Obi-Wan and Vader, but I could not disagree more. I'm upset on behalf of Moses Ingram and her character because I think she was handed a role that wasn't written very well. I don't think it's controversial to say that Star Wars fans are impatient, because I certainly am myself, but when you introduce a new character like Reva into this story and have her play a pivotal role as the driving force of the plot, you really have to do her character well. I think the backbone of Reva's character is written well, but the execution fell completely flat. I only started to like Reva in the second to last episode because we finally saw her backstory and learned her motivations. I asked you all if you thought this should have been shown to us earlier, and after reading your all's comments, I finally found where I stand on this issue, and I'm actually going to explain to you all how I would improve it, so here you go. Reva doesn't work because up until the second to last episode, we have no idea what her motivations are, and that's a really big problem. We don't really need her entire backstory within the first 2 episodes, but in Reva's case, her backstory is integral to her motivations. Reva was a youngling during Order 66 and survived the slaughtering of her fellow Jedi. Now an Inquisitor, she is secretly working against Darth Vader to gain his favor, and in the right moment, strike him down and kill him. For this show, a character like this is a perfect person to kick off the plot of the show. Why, you may ask? Because Darth Vader knows what she's up to. When Reva finally tries to kill him, he reveals that he's known what her plan was all along. It's just Darth Vader and the Grand Inquisitor fucking with her. I've heard some people say it's dumb that Darth Vader let her lead the chase for Obi-Wan if he knew she was a traitor, but no, it's actually kinda smart. Reva only wants to find Obi-Wan to gain favor with Darth Vader, and presumably catch him off guard and kill him. Vader knows Reva will do anything to find and lure out Obi-Wan, so it makes perfect sense that he would use Reva for this purpose. He even tells her that she is of no further use because he's been using her this whole time. Remember their first hologram chat in part 3? He tells her that he's been watching her and that he knows what she seeks. It's said and implied it's the title of Grand Inquisitor, but in hindsight it has 2 meanings. The issue is that we don't know what any of her motivations are at this point. Believe it or not, you don't have to wait until the very end to reveal information to both the audience and the other characters. The audience or other characters knowing something that another main character doesn't know still sets up very high tension, which this show is severely lacking. To give you an example, I'm going to borrow from one of my favorite shows on TV right now, Better Call Saul. This is just a very, very mild spoiler. In Season 6, Jimmy doesn't know that Lalo survived the events of Season 5's finale. Other characters are either adamant that he's alive, suspect he's alive, or flat out know he's alive. The person closest to Jimmy also believes he is alive, and you as the audience know for a fact he's alive. So when Jimmy finds out, it causes so much tension, and if you've seen Better Call Saul, you know what I'm talking about. If If we had gotten a hint in the first episode that Reva might not be exactly who she presents herself as, and then in part 2 we got a scene or two alone with her where we discovered where she came from and what her motivations are, then we as the audience would actually be able to sympathize with her and root for her. Seeing her execute the final part of her plan and try to kill Vader but ultimately fail is a perfect way to end Reva's story. But alas, we can't kill her off that easily. I really think that Reva could have been a far better character if we knew within the first 2 episodes what her motivations were, so that we could root for her. And that way when she finally faces Vader, we would actually feel any emotion other than relief when Vader finally beats her. You know you failed at writing a character when people actually get upset when they don't get killed off. Even if they had written Reva just like how I described, I think Darth Vader killing Reva here is the perfect ending for her story. Reva cannot beat Darth Vader, and this entire sequence makes that very apparent. That's what could have been so tragic. No matter how relatable, likable, or interesting her character may have been, it ultimately does not matter because she can't outlive these characters. Instead, we have a random new character taking up a huge chunk of screen time, embarking on a solo mission and we don't know why, only learning why at the very end, and then watching her fight Vader, lose badly, get stabbed, and still not f***ing die. This is the next thing that I hate, and I mean it. I hate this. I cannot stand the fact that this keeps happening. I am shocked that Qui-Gon didn't raise all hell when he showed up over the fact that everyone but him can survive being stabbed. This sequence implies that Reva was stabbed as a youngling and survived, and she gets stabbed again and survives. She stabbed the Grand Inquisitor in part 2, but I never had a problem with that because his species has 2 stomachs. However, that explanation is not the one given in the show, and instead it's
the will to live.
I really cannot stand this. The will to live is a rather bizarre concept in Star Wars if you really think about it. If you have enough of it, you can survive being mortally wounded, but if you lose it, you'll die giving birth. From now on in Star Wars, if any Force-sensitive person gets stabbed with a lightsaber, I'm going to be left with no reason to believe they aren't alive. This shit is supposed to kill people, yet everyone here is just too fucking angry to die, and it drives me insane. If you keep doing this, there is no tension at all, and that's not how you make a good story. I know what they're trying to do with Reva, and I neither like it nor care about it, and really wish Moses Ingram was given a better written role. Reva's character had so much potential to be compelling, but she overstays her welcome in a story that she otherwise doesn't fit into. For the last part of this rant, I think it's important that I discuss the main focus of this show, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I've heard people say that this show ruins Obi-Wan's character and is on par with the character assassination of Luke in The Last Jedi, but I really don't agree with that. The place we find Obi-Wan in mentally, physically, and spiritually is about where I expected us to find him. I don't think he behaves unlike anything I would have expected, but I will concede that I think other Star Wars materials such as the novels have offered up more engaging and compelling stories for Obi-Wan during this time period. The truth is that this show is very popular right now, and it's been breaking records for Disney+. Ewan and Hayden want to come back again, and Disney and Lucasfilm definitely want them back again as well, so we all need to expect more content like this. I'm sure there are stories worth telling for Obi-Wan in this time period, but I don't think I trust the people running this show to come up with them. Overall, this show is likely going to remain divisive among fans who expected way too much, like myself, those who were never on board with the pitch from the beginning, and those who watched it and thoroughly enjoyed it. If you watched this show and enjoyed yourself, then I'm very happy for you. I really wanted to like this show, but in the end, I just didn't think it was a very good show. Yes, it has its moments, and those moments often come very late in the game, but to call this show a failure financially is, well, wrong, and narratively is, well, your opinion. I always think Star Wars can be better, but I especially can't help but want something as important and impactful as this to be far better than what we got. Tell me in the comments what you thought about this show. I just hit 10,000 subscribers, and I am so thankful for the support you guys have shown me. I've updated my channel to include all my relevant links, so make sure you join my Discord, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I also have 2 new channels you should subscribe to, Remnicore Clips and Remnicore Gaming. Remnicore Clips will be short videos taken from these commentaries, while Remnicore Gaming will be where I post future livestream highlights or other game-related content. Thank you all again for the support, and don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, and like this video. I am Remnicore. I will see you all in the next one.